and I was sold and I needed to make it myself. So this is... Hello and welcome. It has been so long since I have done a sit-down podcast episode, so welcome to this knitting and crocheting podcast. Those who do not know me, my name is Umbriel. I am a knitter. I live in the Netherlands. Honestly, work has been super busy, so I have no time to basically edit my knitting vlogs. I have a knitting vlog, like I have a few like ready to go. Basically, I just need to edit, but I don't have any time. So here I am with just a regular knitting podcast. So I hope you enjoy, and let's just get started. There's like no way to do this since the last time. So I'm just going to show you a couple of recently finished objects, which is basically finished objects from this year. Because I haven't been as productive as I would have liked to be. So I don't know how that is with you guys, but if at the start of the year, I'm like, I'm gonna finish one big project every month and then some accessories on the side, but it's really not that simple. But I have been working through my whips. So one of the examples of that is this sweater, which you might have seen my vlog of. This is the Sibling Sweater by Laura Penrose, which I modified to make the stripes a little bit bigger of my Artemis Yarns Advent calendar. And then I'm using this white here, where I have the cone right here. Welcome in my new knitting podcast corner, by the way. I did do that in the meantime. But yeah, this is the Sibling Sweater by Laura Penrose that I used this fade for. That, yeah, I had 5 different colors and they were fingering weights. So I held 2 strands of fingering weight together throughout the whole sweater. So then I could have a color in between every time too. So I had 2 strands of color 1 and then color 1 and color 2 together. That's like around here. And then color 2 and 3. So yeah, you can really see there's a beautiful fade. But if you want to know more about this sweater, I refer you to that vlog. And then there's one more that I have a vlog about too, but I did finish it recently. This is one of my super long lasting whips, or it was, not anymore, so that feels good. But this is my olive turtleneck pattern by Knitting for Olive, which I started in October of 2022. So a really, really long time ago, and I finally finished it. So for this sweater, I used 1 strand of Drops Puna, which is 100% alpaca, and then 1 strand of Kitsilk Mohair, the Rico Design one, that is a fade. And I was struggling when I first started it with the color fade and what to do when I went into the sleeves, but I figured it out and now it's beautiful. It's really hot though. And yeah, spring is here, so this is definitely too hot to wear right now. So yeah, that's the other sweater that I have a vlog about. So if you want to know more about it, then I refer you to that one. And then now I'll tell you everything about the rest of these projects. Because I have 3 finished crochet projects. I have 2 whips I want to talk about and a sock whip to talk about. And then I want to talk about what will come after this. So future plans, a little bit of spring knitting ideas, and yeah. So I got in a little bit of an amigurumi kick and like a plushie making kick. So I made this knitting corner and then I thought I need a little mascot. So I started making this cutie over here. This is a sheep. It's literally just called Sheep by Kirsty Toulouse, I think. I went to a website and bought it on her website, but I found her through Etsy. But yeah, if you buy it from someone's website, they usually make a little bit more money and they don't have to give anything to Etsy. So yeah, I bought the pattern on her website, and it was supposed to be made with like a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook, but I did it with a 4.5. So it turned out a lot bigger, and I used my acrylic yarn stash. So turns out, I already knew this, but turns out that crochet just eats up your yarn. So yeah, I went through my acrylic yarn stash like super fast, and I even bought some chenille yarn. So now I have a whole new box of acrylic yarn. And those who have followed me know that I have done a acrylic stash down challenge where I was trying to do one project at a time, working through my acrylic yarn stash. So yeah, these amigurumis really finished up, not everything, but almost everything of my acrylic yarn stash. And then I ended up buying more because Hobby had a sale on the chenille yarn, and I was like, I don't want to miss the sale. So there's a box of chenille yarn now. And if you don't know what chenille yarn is, it's that really, really soft, fluffy yarn, and I haven't crocheted anything with it yet. So there's just literally a box now in my house. I don't know if it was the best move,
Probably not.
it's okay. I'll make something with it at some point. So yeah, here's the sheep. This is my mascot. I just decided to call my sheep Man from maanknitwear. So here's Man, and it's going to be in my background from now on. So, oh no. All right, I'll just grab the next one. So then I really got into trying to find the cutest amigurumi patterns to make plushies. And then I found this strawberry triceratops. And I don't remember the designer. I'll put it on the screen. It was a free pattern, so I didn't have to pay for this one. But it is so cute. Like the dangly limbs. Oh man, it's just so cute. I had it in the living room for a while, and I was just looking at it, thinking about how cute it is. Yeah, I don't even know why I have it, but I like it. I like making it. So yeah, here's my little crocheted triceratops. So cute. And I've used like the same yarn as this one, and also a 4.5 millimeter hook. So this is how big the little strawberry triceratops has gotten. Yeah, there's not that much more to say about it, except for that it's really cute. And then one more amigurumi, and then I'll get back to knitting for those of you who are here for the knitting. So here is this is the Luna the Loch Ness Monster. So yeah, super cute, super long, like huge. And I used 3 strands of this acrylic yarn that I have a lot of. And then I ended up finishing this color. I faded in the other blue color. And then I had to do all the fins and everything in the blue, light blue color. But it's super cute and it's super long. It and it took a while. I kind of enjoyed those more, like the modular ones, compared to making this super long body. And also the neck is a little flimsy. So if you make amigurumi and like the bigger ones, if you have any way to keep the neck a little more firm, please let me know. But yeah, pretty cute. I don't know. I was so into it for a little bit. So those are my amigurumis. I was also making a vlog about it since I was using my acrylic yarn, and I felt like it was time to like do another part of that challenge. So yeah, one will come up at some point when I have time to do, when I have enough time to edit a vlog. So just bear with me. I'm still here. I'm knitting, I'm crocheting. I don't really have time for the editing anymore. So yeah, those are my finished objects that I have to share. Then I have 3 whips, And the first one is the big sweater I really wanted to make this year, which is, maybe you recognize it? I don't know, I saw it on Instagram and I was sold and I needed to make it myself. So this is the Nature Conservation Sweater by Linka Newman. And it is a bottom-up sweater, which is not as bad as I thought it would be. So here's the body. And I'm making the largest size, which is a little bit of a shame because I am very for size inclusivity. And there's basically just two sizes, and then you change your needle size to make sizes bigger. But I wanted this to reach kind of like over my hips. And for that, I really needed to be wide enough. And I think this is like definitely wide enough, maybe a little bit too wide, but that's okay. I basically want it to be as long as my rain jacket is, so I can wear it underneath that. Since we are going to be traveling in June, we're going to be traveling to South America. And we don't know exactly where yet. And it's a big continent. Yeah, so we're going to South America, and I want to have one sweater with me, and this sweater has a hood. It has buttons, 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 buttons. Why is this so hard all of a sudden? Buttons. Okay, whatever. It has those things here, and it has a hood, or at least has an option for a hood. And I'm making that version, but look how amazing. Do you see my orcas, or killer whales? But yeah, they're so good. I had to do 3 color work here, and I haven't done it successfully yet in the past, but I was doing okay. I was so surprised. And then I went back to 2 color work, and I was like, oh, it's so easy. Compared to the 3 color work, the 2 color work is great. So what I do to do color work is I hold one color in my left hand and then one color in my right hand. So I'm doing combined knitting. So I'm doing continental and English style, and I am able to do both. Usually I knit continentally, by the way. I don't know if I really share that on here, or if I have shared it on here before. But yeah, I'm a continental knitter, but I started knitting English style when I was young. So in like 2021, when I started making sweaters, I converted to being a continental knitter. So now I would say I'm a continental knitter, but I can definitely do English style too. So that's perfect for color work. So then you can just go choop, 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 choop. And it's also really easy to catch your floats that way, because you can go underneath the one or the other. Yeah. So with the 3 color work, I did 2 colors in my on my left finger, so continental, and then 1 color in my right hand. And I always try to do the contrast color more to the left, so on the continental style, which is always a little bit annoying for me if there's long parts where you have this pink, because then I'm doing that English style, and English style is slower for me. So I don't like those parts, because I do have to put the black, for example, I have to put it in my left hand to make it pop a little more. And there are examples, I don't know if you know that, but if you knit color work, then there's one color that like pops to the front and one that goes to the back a little bit. I do have an example of that. So these are color work mittens that I made. These are the Alma mittens. And in these, I actually held the white to the front, but I can pop in a picture of the same pair of mittens knit by other people where they held the contrast color, like the green for me, but I think it was red in the example, that they held that one like to pop. And then you can really see it's a lot more red heavy, And here you can see that the white is a lot more there, like present. So that's what difference it makes. So also if you make a pair of these mittens, make sure you do the same thing for both mittens. And I actually, when I started these and I was about here on the first one, I realized I did the wrong way. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing it this way because then they come out looking right. But I did make the green pop a little less. So yeah, those were that was the body. I'm working on the body right now, but I also have finished both sleeves. So I have 2 sleeves here, and I have done a bunch of alterations, and I have put down what my alterations were. They're on this little sticky note. The pattern has like a kind of like a bishop sleeve where they make the cuff really tight and then increase a bunch of stitches when they go into the sleeve. I decided I didn't want that, so I just looked at where I wanted to be here and what I wanted the cuff to be like, and then decided how many stitches I wanted to increase along here. So I just did, I think I did a few rounds. I think maybe 3 times I did increase every 5 rounds, and then I did every 7 rounds until I was here. And one thing I also did differently, because this is an 11 stitch repeat, and the pattern says to have 82 stitches at the top. So I went down to 77, because also I'm making the biggest size, but my frame isn't necessarily, yeah, I don't know. I can have smaller sleeves. I don't have to have the biggest size of sleeves. I just have to have enough space around my bust and around my hips. And that's it, basically. So I can even wear a pretty small sweater when it comes to like my upper body. At least I don't mind it being a little more, like a little tighter there either. So that's just like, I know that that's okay with me. So I'm gonna, when I join the sleeves together with the body, I have to make a few alterations because I'm gonna have less stitches for the sleeves. But I was thinking to just have less stitches for the sleeve portion of the raglan. Yeah, so that's super exciting, and I'm super excited to work a bottom-up raglan sweater because I haven't ever done that before. That's it, and I know exactly which colors I'm going to use for which sections. So yeah, I'm going to have this color as my main color, which is the Milky Way color. It looks really blue right now, but it actually has pink in there too. It's super nice. And I still had a bunch of that yarn because I wanted to make the Maya cardigan a really long time ago. So I just had to buy a few more balls. Oh, I'm using Istex Letlopi. So that's also another reason. That was the suggested yarn, or one of the suggested yarns. And yeah, I wanted to have that sweater that I'm going to use while I'm traveling to be Letlopi, because I feel like that's like perfect for outerwear in some cases, but also it's like 100% wool, so it's just going to be insulating, not too hot, but hot enough when I need it to protect me. So yeah, I was thinking if I have that sweater and my rain jacket, I don't need any other warm layers. So yeah, I'm super excited about that one, and my plan is to finish it at least at the end of May, and I realized I have enough time for that, so I'm going to keep working on that one. But in the meantime, I do have a little bit of, I want to start a few other projects that I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. But first, my other 2 whips. One of which that you will have seen if you're like, if you have been on this channel. This is the Lonely Leftovers vest, and it's taking so long. So at the end of the olive turtleneck sweater vlog, I was like doing a spin okay, I'm doing so many different things. It's kind of, well, if you watch all my videos, then you know it. But if you don't, then you don't. So I'm just going to explain it. I was doing a spin that wheel challenge where I was spinning a wheel to decide which whip I was going to finish next. And the olive turtleneck came out of spinning the wheel. And the next one that came out of it is my lonely leftovers vest. So I started working on this one again, and then soon I realized how long it is taking to do these rows, because I am doing the Lerke Bacher, one of her scrappy techniques, which means I have to tie knots in one of the strands of my yarn like a few times every row. So that's a lot. And at the top, I just made a huge ball and I just knitted whatever was on the ball. But now that I am in the body, it's really long rows, so I can do it a little bit less often. So I wanted the strands to be longer. But then I realized I kind of want to say, I kind of want to decide where my colors are going to go. So I don't want to randomly have colors, because sometimes they don't end up looking very nice. For example, here there's a lot of yellow because it's random, so they'll just come out at the same spot accidentally. So I wanted to make sure that that didn't happen in the body section. So yeah, I'm using 2 strands together, both from my acrylic yarn stash, and this is from an unraveled sweater with some glitter in it. And then this is the other strand that I keep striping. So I'm doing mainly white. I go back to the white second strand a lot. And then I have all these colors in this bag that I keep alternating between. So yeah, this bag was handmade by Brooke Willow, by the way, who I love to watch as well, and I won her giveaway from a make-along. So yeah, that's really fun. And this was from my advent calendar from Artemis Yarns. So it's a really fun bag and it makes me happy. Yeah, but the whip does not make me super happy. But I did decide to finish it, and yeah, I'm having a hard time finishing it. So I'm sporadically working on it, but I do feel like because work has been so stressful, I am deciding which whip I'm going to be starting next, because I just want to, knitting doesn't have to be work. And I do want to finish that whip at some point, but I'm just going to do it bit by bit, and at some point it will be finished. But since work has been so stressful, I just need to have this as my joy. So I think I'm going to be casting on something new. I have 3 options. So I keep saying that, but I still have to show you one more whip. This can be quick. This is a sock whip. I was just working on it on the train back from work. But this is a sock that I have been making. And you can kind of see it well on camera. I feel like you can't see it enough, so I was thinking of taking it apart, and I'm also wondering if it's stretchy enough since it's color work. I can try it on my foot right now. Okay, it works. It's even over my sock. At the bottom I'm doing 1x1 rib, not rib, 1x1 color work. And I really like the way that this looks. And then, yeah, at the top, I made this graph a while ago. It is like a flower with like 3 sets of leaves, and then like that at the top. And then I was just going to stack them. And I was going to do a Flegel heel. If you don't know, I have a few sock patterns out. So I was just toying with the idea of making another pair of socks with a flower pattern, because I do have the Blossoming Heart socks, and I really enjoy flower socks, so why not make more? And I was actually looking for something like this because I felt like I saw it somewhere, but then I couldn't find a pattern, and then I saw a few patterns and I was like, yeah, that's kind of it, but it's not exactly what I wanted it to be. And then I thought, okay, I can just make my own. But here, I don't know if I like the contrast enough. So I could also block it because it is a little weird because I had to catch my floats. So it's kind of like crooked a little bit. I don't know. And I also really like this. So I was also thinking maybe I should just make a sock completely one by one color work and then switch the colors in a cool way and doing a fleagle heel. Because I feel like with a fleagle heel, I'll definitely have enough space with the color work because the fabric is so tight. So yeah, I'm just toying around with this idea. Oh, and the yarn is from Dyevergent.yarn. And that is, yeah, I really like chatting with her. Her name is Salome, and I think she watches my videos, so hi. And she has sent me that yarn last year when to celebrate my 1,000 subscribers. So that was so fun. That was my first and only ever gifted yarn. So yeah, I felt super honored and it was super fun. And I also want to use that yarn because I love it. But then I'm thinking, oh, I want to make something beautiful with it. So it was kind of hard to pick out what I wanted to make. So yeah, the pink and this one is from Salome from Divergent Yarn. Then we can get into those plants that I was talking about. So I'm thinking a few things. Cardigan, another cardigan, or another striped sweater. Because, and I have talked about this for a really long time now, I love the way that the Hoger sweater of Petite Knit looks. So stripy body and then 2 different color sleeves, colored collar and a colored hem at the bottom. I love that. And I currently have 2 striped sweaters that I both wear a lot, which is the Sibling Sweater and my stripe hype pullover, both of which I knitted with the Artemis Yarns Advent Calendar. This one was from 2023 and this one from 2024. I'm not planning on doing another Advent this year. I was actually thinking about making an Advent with my own yarn, so I'm not going to buy one. So, but that's a whole different story. But I was thinking I want to make the Holger sweater for myself, but with one of these 2 patterns as the template. Because Petite Knit didn't bring out the Holger sweater for women. She did put it out for men, so I suppose I could use that one. But I don't really see the need because I already have 2 patterns for a striped sweater. And also I now know what I like for the fit. And I have got to say, I prefer, even though it doesn't have any short rows or like any way to increase the height of the back, I prefer the stripe hype pullover. And I think, and this is something I want to check with you guys, how you think about this, but I think it is because of my bust size that I don't really need to have the back to be extended. Because usually you put short rows on the back to have a little bit more fabric at the back, because the back kind of goes like this a little bit more and then the front hangs down and you also have your neck, and at the back it goes up a little bit. But I have noticed with a lot of sweaters where there's a lot of like short row space, or like however they make it, you can go back and forth, you can make short rows, anything. If you raise up the back a lot, for me, the front is quite short and the back is super long. I don't know if you can see it really well with this sweater. I'll get on my chair. But there, I think you can see it. So this is like up, and then at the back it goes down a lot. And that is because it goes here instead of like down for me. So I think I would make the stripe hype sweater again. And it's simple. It's such a simple sweater. It's literally just the only thing that is like difficult is like increasing for the neckline from like here. on that sweater. And there's a lot more designing that went into this sweater, but I just noticed that I don't need all that fuss at the back. So I'll show you what Laura did, but she made this whole panel here at the back. And then she had to rethink and like recalculate that for every size so the stripes will line up. So that's a lot of work, but honestly, for me, it wasn't even necessary. So yeah, I think I will make another striped sweater and then make the Holger sweater with black and white stripes, one sleeve lime green, one sleeve lilac, the color in actually kind of cobalt blue, so that's like similar to this color, and then the bottom in light yellow. That's my idea, and I want it so bad. I just been thinking about it, and I just need to do it because I feel like I'm doing mostly a lot of color work, and then the one whip, the Lonely Leftovers vest, and I'm not really having any enjoyment out of. And I think if I just put in those in those times where I'm not really excited about my knitting, if I put like a simple stockinette project that has stripes, which makes it super like exciting to work on because you just see the stripes form. I feel like if I put that in my rotation, then I'm just going to do a lot more knitting, basically. So yeah, then it's going to be like work on my nature conservation sweater, and then if I don't feel like it, do my stripes. The only thing is, I don't really have that much of that yarn in stash, so I'm going to have to buy more yarn, and I already have a good amount of stash. So I feel a little, yeah, I don't know, that's kind of like stopping me, but I'm also like, I kind of just want to relax because work has been stressful and I just want to work on something that I'm excited about right now. So that's another message for myself. Don't buy yarn if you don't want to cast on something right now, because then it's just going to lay there. So that's my first idea. And then the two cardigans that I was talking about. I have these two types of beautiful yarn. I have Malabrigo Arroyo in this cobalt blue. It's called like electric blue. I'll put on a picture on the screen of my stashed yarn. I really want to make that one into a cardigan. And then Andrea Mowry put out a new cardigan and I saw it and I was in love. I love the thick button band. Button. There, I said it. Button. I don't know. Sometimes it just happens. I didn't remember how to say it, but now button band. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so the thick button band and the little bit of like texture, but not too difficult. I think it's just like a broken rib or something. And it's in sport weight. And Malabrigo Arroyo is also in sport weight. And I've had that yarn for a while now and I want to make something with it. So I really want to make that cardigan. Also, I need more cardigans and I need more cardigans that aren't super hot. Because the one cardigan that I wear a lot is my Eva cardigan, but I made it with mohair, so it's really hot. So that's one idea. And then I also have this green yarn in stash, which is, I was thinking one strand of Tin Peer Gynt by Sandnes Garn in the Sunny Lime, held together with a strand of Holst Coast in this other lime green. And I wanted to make the Paul cardigan by Marika Knits, or Marika Knit, Morika. I don't know how to pronounce it, but she's a Polish designer, and I think she's getting really popular. But I really like the way the Paul cardigan looks. But there is a lot more going on the shoulders. So, like what I said, I don't need that much length on the back. I'm gonna see what I want with that, if I do want to make that one or not. But I think they use a couple strands held together, 2 strands, and they use a bigger needle than the Andrea Mowry one. So I think that yarn would be really good for the Paul cardigan, because if you have a bigger needle, we have 2 strands, it kind of fills it up a little bit more. So yeah, I was thinking about making that one, and yeah, I'm just so excited about these 3 projects, and I feel like I should just cast it on. I should just do it. Um, Also because I've been like making vlogs about everything, it kind of is a hurdle before starting something. Because I'm like, oh no, I should like finish this vlog first. But now this is kind of the downside of that. So I am thinking of doing these podcasts more often again, and just sharing throughout. And I hope you like it. And it's okay if it's a smaller group, because I really like you guys, the few people who always watch. I see your comments and I really, really appreciate you guys. So thank you for being here. I will say a little bit about personal life. Life has been a little bit stressful. I switched jobs in October, and then work has been getting a lot more hectic. So I switched teams and made a promotion. So yeah, I'm still working at the same company, but there's just a lot more high impact projects, and that's what I wanted. So I'm happy with that, but it's also giving me a little bit more stress and also less time to like knit throughout the day. When I'm working from home, I really have to deliver all the time. So it's been getting a little bit much. And also I've been thinking about it in the evenings and stuff. So like I also have to protect myself from not overworking myself, like burning out. So yeah, I've been editing my videos a lot less, so you've been seeing less from me. So then you know where that comes from. But the good news is I saved up a lot of free like holidays, and we are able to travel for a really long time in June, July, and maybe a little bit of August. So yeah, that's not coming up yet, but it will come up sooner than I realized, probably. So yeah, just so you know what is going on in my life. And yeah, I have been doing good besides that, which is a lot of my life, basically. It's at least 40 hours. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you if you've watched until this point. If you did, I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll do another podcast soon, or bring out one of those vlogs, but see you soon.